Hello there, I'm Tim and he's John, and this is How to Murder Blocks, Minecraft adventures with insane devices.
Yeah,
Watcha.
just gonna be another of those episodes.
It's going to be a bit of an explaining expositional episode because I was a bit busy during the week and made some stuff. So regular viewers probably remember my sort of abortive Mark II device that dropped a load of bombs down shafts and had a big spiky mana core in the middle to pick up the stuff, and it didn't really work because it wasn't resupplying itself properly. So I've made a few modifications. Behold, the Omega device 2.0.
Okay.
Yes, don't be alarmed by all the red fire. That's largely superficial, I think. So the problem was that. So let's walk with me. You'll see that in the centre we got the same core design as before, which is basically 24 Gaia mana spread, Elven mana spreaders, all pointing into the same pool. 24 bomb flowers around the outside, entropiniums. They shoot all the mana from nearby explosions into the centre, which will go into the pool. I've rejigged this so that it's not doing electricity; it's doing mana in like normal now. So this pipe work underneath no use anymore. It could be reconverted back to do mana if we needed, but I think you've got better ways to sort out electricity now anyway. Yes. Yeah. So the problem was the resupply. So what I've done is I've stuck a train set on the top. As you do. So people might recognise this from the potato reactor on the other server, but what we've got is a little Minecraft. We've got a perpetual loop that goes round the track. It's got a chest in it, and over there is a hopper and that B-space crate thing that is connected to the bomb supply over on the other reactor there. At the moment it's got 41 stacks of TNT in there. So when the pulse is sent, this torch you're stood on lights up, sends the cart off around the thing, goes around the track, goes over these hoppers. Each time it passes over a hopper, it drops a bomb into the slot, which goes to the dispenser in question. There's a few speed-up rails there permanently on just to keep it moving. Zoom, there it goes. It drops bombs into the hoppers, and the hoppers feed into the dispensers, which drop the lit bombs down the shafts when they get the redstone pulse. Got rid of the little clock thing, and instead the minecart sets it off. When it goes over a detector rail, and there's oh god, I'm lost, fallen down into the gubbins.
You fall into the water.
Yeah, there we go. So the detector rail sets the bombs off, and boom, mana, flowers, etc. But over here we got quite a complicated secondary device. This nightmare of redstone wiring. I had to look up a lot of this. Basically, it sends two pulses. It's essentially a toggle for the powered rail underneath the dispenser and the hopper. The problem with the hopper and the dispenser was that it wasn't sitting tight under the hopper long enough to pick up any bombs, so I had to put in a toggle. This redstone wire here basically toggles on or off depending on the inputs from this torch here. And we've got two different ways that can be triggered on two different detector rails. There's one here. So that one there that one there turns the powered rail through, whereas the one nearer the far end turns the rail back on, but it sends itself out through this big timing circuit. There's probably a more elegant way to do this as well, but the idea being that it turns the rail off and then will automatically turn it on after so many seconds have elapsed. I can't even remember how many with this delay circuit here, but all these 4-tick repeaters effectively slow the signal down, so it takes a while for the off you go again signal to get after the stop signal has arrived. I don't understand it much myself really either.
Looks straightforward enough.
Yeah. So the practical upshot of it is that that one there underneath the barrel with the hopper will turn off for about 4 seconds and then turn back on again. And then off goes the minecart. And that only does so when the minecart arrives into the little station there. There it goes on its way around. That probably needs to speed up a bit. Anyway.
It's fine.
Yeah, broadly works. There it is. It sits there, tick, 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 tick. It's loading bombs from the hopper above into the little chest on top, and whoosh, off it goes again. Entirely without human intervention. This whole system is entirely automated. That's the scary thing about it all. Anyway, so the mana fills up in the pool in the middle, which I've painted green just so I can tell what's going on. I'm using a colour coding system for the pools now because green is... it was getting a bit confusing.
Also, we have about a bazillion pools as far as I can tell.
Yes. So it comes out to we got spark on the one in the middle, which is set to recessive, which means it will always try and evacuate its mana whenever it can to any nearby non-augmented spark, like so. So this blue pool here picks it up. Notice underneath I've got a new block. This is a mana void. Very important. If for some reason the machine runs away with itself and fills this pool, the pool in the middle will fill up, and then the spreaders will fill up, and the spreaders won't be able to take any more mana. And at that point, exploding flowers don't capture the explosion; they just let it blow up.
When you discovered
the whole
that?
thing sky high. I thought about that beforehand. Anyway, also I've built the pit and the bomb drop chutes and everything out of lovely obsidian, so there's not much that can actually be blown up, even if I screw up the explosion capture on the flowers.
When?
So,
Not if.
yeah, it's all a bit theoretical. Anyway, so if this pool here overflows, that void mana that block will just destroy any surplus mana.
That's
It will
cool.
always have room. Yep. So sparks, we know what sparks do. That's kind of Wi-Fi power connection system between pools. The important thing is the augments. That one on there has got an isolated augment. I've had to learn what their little runes look like, and now it doesn't, because we've got a widget here called a spark tinkerer. Now this sits next to a mana pool, and you put one in the tray like so, and you can put another one on the spark, and when it receives a redstone signal coming in, it will swap the one in the tray for the one on the spark, like so. So what we got over there is our old friend the floating hourglass. That one's set to about 16 seconds, arbitrary value. You want it long enough for it to evacuate from one pool to another, really. This isn't set that far, but it seems to work. That sends a signal to the spark tray, tinkerer tray there, which will every cycle of the hourglass swaps the sparks. So you can have no spark no augment as well. So you can swap blank for an augment and vice versa, like it's doing there. So that one is currently isolated, and then it will go to available, and it flicks between the two every 16 seconds. Now this one over here, just next to it, this one is running dominant and recessive on a sort of on the 16-second timer. So in sequence with the one over there, it will swap its state from give me all the mana to take all my mana away. But obviously, if I'm trying to move the mana up the chain, which is what this is, I don't want this pool passing it back to the pool it got it from, which is why this one switches to isolate, give mana away. So it can't give mana back along the chain, because this one's set to no mana here, please, with that little widget wiggly squiggle. So this one has no choice but to pass it to the next pool, which is which one are you? You're here. This one. So this one is now running isolated and blank again, but in opposite sequence to the isolated and blank further over there. So when the one behind it is isolated, the one in front of it is available, and vice versa. But this one is there you go. You can see the sparkles. So, and then this next one in the chain, which I believe is this one, they got a range of 12 blocks. 12
That's not
blocks.
12 blocks.
I know, this was just how they were all laid out anyway. I sort of adapted existing pools for the purpose rather than remove everything from scratch. You notice that the redstone is all running along with repeaters, so all of these sparks augment switchings are happening on the same pulse, and that's very important because you need the whole chain to be in sequence. So basically what happens is the mana arrives in the pool, gets shunted along to the next pool, and then to the next pool, and then waits. Spark will switch. That will change from give me all the mana to take all my mana, but the one that's got it from in the first place suddenly changes to I don't want your mana. So it has to give it to the next one. There go the sparkles, and so on, and so on, and so on up the chain. Quite a lot of redstone circuitry. There must be a more elegant way of doing this. That one dumps to here. Now notice that we got purple pools here. Now the purple pools are consuming pools. I've gone with green for creation pools. There's green in the bottom of the old mana core 3.0. But this one's redundant now. This machine, I don't need it anymore. It's just a shame. I had some good times blowing up mana by hand. Anyway,
that's my favourite machine, though.
I know we might still use it for fun and festivals and stuff. So purple pools are basically pools that I've set to permanently give me all the mana mode, permanently dominant augmented. So basically they will always try and steal mana for any near to the chain that's passing the mana up the hill, which are the blue ones. Anytime we make some terra steel, these pools here will automatically interrupt the chain and just steal any mana that's going past and fill up, which is good. That's what I want. If you look over here to the elven pools, the elven portal as well, purple pools here as well.
Oh, they're full. So that could be
full.
running all the time now.
I think it could be running all the time, but I just think that still would be a waste of bombs because I'll come to why the whole system's a bit of a problem at the end. But we'll follow it up the hill anyway. So yep, more blue pools here. Again, this is all just toggling the state of either dominant recessives or isolated and blanks. But if you get the sequence right and have them flip-flopping in the right fashion, it effectively becomes a kind of escalator for mana, which will go bobbling up the hill to this one here, up the stairs, up to this one here, up the stairs to this one here. See the bubbles all coming along?
Yeah.
And this has far more capacity than a chain of mana spreaders and pools. It can really shift a lot of mana. And does it silently as well, which is nice. I had to cut a hole in the hill. There's another one down here. And then down here to this one. You see most of them are full because the whole system's been very cleverly automatically adjusting itself as it needs. To this one here, and then finally to here, this purple pool in the centre. If you've got a mana mirror handy, that's probably the one to bind to because that will always be full. I got rid of the one under the old mana tower battery. That's all gone. That's old and busted now. So I've gone with yellow pools for storage. Basically, mana will just eventually end up in these pools. I've gone with spreaders in here, basically, because it's just much easier to shuttle stuff around. Well, it's noisier, which is nice, but also it's much easier to shuttle it short distances without having to work on more toggled flip-flopping augments and so on. They all shoot up through the ceiling. Ta-da! The mana vault. There's a lot of mana in here.
There is.
Having accumulated this vast amount of mana, I've now realised that I don't really know what to do with it. So we'll have to come up with a project that needs immense amounts of mana. Probably fighting boss monsters or something. We can shuttle all this mana down to somewhere where we can put some flowers. We could put some of those flowers down that generate dungeon loot from mana. At a vast cost of mana.
It's not a bad idea, actually, yeah.
I don't know. I've become obsessed to the point where I'm just collecting mana for its own sake now, and I think
that is very you, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. Yes. Look at the precious blue fish. I might just go swimming in it, make a swimming pool or something. I've made myself a new thing here in the baubles list: the Mana Seer Monocle, which is really cheap and easy to make using very low-end Britannia widgets. But if you stick it in your baubles, you can see the pulses through the floor, which is nice. You have to be looking at my screen and not John's to see this happening, but it just lets you keep an eye on what's going on, which is good, monitoring and so on. So there we go. I think I've solved mana forever, more or less, but we got a bit of a problem. We go back out and down the hill. Oh, I'll show you the comparators as well. I understand comparators.
Why is that always a problem?
Well, that's the nature of the thing, isn't it? You make one thing and it just shows that you need to make more other stuff.
I suspect we're also passing a bunch of stuff I haven't explained either, but yeah.
Oh, wow. No, I'm also interested in stuff you've made. So, yes, the comparators are clever. This is a vanilla Minecraft block item, and it's a measuring tool. So you place it like so against any object, a container, a chest, barrels. In this case, we're using it for mana pools. The two red pins connect to the device you want to measure, and then it will send a variable strength redstone out on the one pin. Now, what you do with that is, so basically, if this mana pool is full, it will send power 15 out of the output redstone here. My Mana Seer Monocle is telling me the amount of power in each of the redstone bits of circuitry, which is nice. So what the comparator does is basically break up the contents of the thing you've attached it to into 16ths of capacity, and then send signals based on how much is currently in there, which is fantastic. I didn't understand these at all before. I thought they were some sort of transistor, but they're not. They do something different. So it sends a signal of strength 15 out when the pool is full. So you send that off to activate the thing you want. Now what I've got on the other end of this chain of redstone is a NOT gate, effectively. So basically when this redstone here has power 0, this string on the back, this torch will go on, which will send the minecart on its way to generate more mana. So, and the clever bit is you make a string of redstone long enough to go to 0 when you reach the amount of 16ths in the pool that you want it to trigger at. So in other words, this one's set, I think, hang on, we've got 1, 2, I think it's about between 13 or 14, which means that when the pool gets to about 80% or so, the comparator no longer has enough power to complete the circuit. So as the mana goes down in that pool, this redstone gets weaker and weaker, and eventually lets the torch trigger onwards. And that's basically it. So what effectively it does is only runs the Omega device when the receiving pool needs more mana.
Cool.
So if this whole system fills with mana, that will stop, and it will stop using up our bombs, which should be good. Over here we've got a similar comparator system on the B-Space barrel. This barrel is magically connected to the barrel on top of the hopper over on the Omega device. And what I've done there is I've basically set it so that this automatic gate thing, what's that called? I don't know, the gate there, only receives, again, another NOT gate. That's how it happens if you send redstone through the back of a block that the torch is attached to the front of. So basically when this redstone, which is attached to a comparator on the back of this barrel here, basically when the barrel here drops below about 80% of capacity, it will trigger the signal, but effectively start that gate, which loads bombs out of that box into this box. Unfortunately, if you look at the little bar graph on the bottom there and mouse over it, TNT 0.
Ooh.
Yes. So the problem is that the whole system is so fantastically efficient and awesome and everything that my poor little farm here can't keep up. I mean, it'll gradually replenish over time, and the Omega device has tons of bombs in storage in each of the dispensers, so I don't think it's going to be a major problem. But yeah, basically, it'll refill over time once we've got mana that's full. But if we've got any large-scale projects like fighting end bosses or whatever, then we're probably going to need to augment that somehow. Possibly more farms, don't know. But anyway, I'm quite pleased with my week's work. What have you done?
Oh, I can't remember what I did between this episode and the last one. I'll just explain some of the stuff we've done.
The tree farm? Did we talk about that?
Oh, I turned the tree farm back on. I've wired the tree farm up to be automatically filling up with fertilizer and dirt and stuff, so it always runs. Just because I thought I could, because why not?
Never have too much wood.
Yep. Also, saplings may be useful.
Oh, you have to burn those for witchery dusts stuff, I think.
We've got a crystal growth accelerator, which I probably didn't explain last time, which has a formation plane here and a annihilation plane at the end with random colours because I was running out of cables.
Funky.
Inside is a block of water next to the formation one, which goes down to the annihilation. So all seeds, these are the crystal seeds, are set to export onto the formation plane, no matter what level they're at. Yeah. And they will go down here past the accelerators, and they get pulled back into the AE system on the annihilation plane.
And then looped around the top and thrown back in? And
they'll go back in again, up until the point they become crystals.
So, but explain the crystal mechanic then, because I never really understood that. They're a component for the Flux cables.
And a bunch of other stuff. Yes, you've got your Certus crystals and your other Flux crystals. And they are basically, you create these seeds out of a couple of items, and then you put them in water and wait for them to mature into crystals. But if you use these fantastic growth accelerators, then they will grow faster. And I've got here, you can't see it properly because
purple lightning coming off it.
It's underground. But what I've done on all four sides, I've put one on.
There's one underneath as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Which is why this now goes up to the flight ceiling in this building. And has an awful lot of wind turbines on top to power the damn thing.
Oh yeah, the building got a bit bigger.
Use power.
Yeah, but this is fundamental to using an AE system because we need that to create these cable things, which is how you get everything about the place.
So now crystals can be automatically done, and the recipe will take a while, but it will build stuff automatically.
We're very much into automation here. It's just the future.
Yeah,
the future is us being bone idle, to be honest.
This room is basically us pulling stuff out.
Yeah, we're decamping from here, and moving it all into the main.
Most of this storage now is useless, and I need to just re-import it into the system. Because if we go along here to our storage room, which we've already been through, we can see I've got enough storage drawers for most of the stuff, although that one is...
Oh, you've had a tidy up down here, yeah. There was a whole other wall here.
So it's just the raw ones, apart from this box at the end, which has other stuff. So everything that we're making in the farm has its own thing, which voids it when it gets too much. But there's a lot, including
pipes bursting,
the wood that the tree farm's doing, and also the saplings that the tree farm's doing.
They're all green edging. Is that the largest capacity
it's the largest
upgrade?
one. A green edging, and it's got the void thing on it. And this one here at the end has just picked some stuff up, which was you going crazy, I guess.
Possibly.
The good thing about
train tracks
putting extra bits on here is it will just use it as storage. So I'll take it out of the storage drives upstairs and put them in here instead. So it can be quite useful. Is there an
advantage to having these in boxes instead of just adding more storage to the main system?
They're slightly cheaper.
Fair enough.
But don't add any more boxes because it gets really confusing, and then I have to spend the entire weekend doing stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
I've added some more 64K stuff there. I think that's possibly it for the interesting stuff. I've sorted out some wiring, and I've done an awful lot of building automation up here with stuff on higher levels. I've moved over the lasers and stuff for the chipset generation.
Rocket pogo stick. There we go. I landed on the B floor. Have they seen the B floor? The bees have been a bit overproductive. We've got about 1 million tons of silky comb now, which is used for making the silk swatches and stuff. I think you can make big bags out of it, something like that. But anyway, these are very primitive beehive devices that just keep feeding the drones and queens back into itself. And each hive has its favoured material, flowers type thing there. And I had to build balconies on them because they need to see the sky. But because there was some objectives and quests and things that involved making a suit of silk apiary stuff, which I made. And then I think that's it for bees now, according to the book. So we don't do bees anymore. We border bees.
Over at the witchery area, I've put in a crafting terminal, so we've got full access to the AE system over here, and we don't need to carry anything separately, which is really useful.
I think that's going to be the thing, isn't it? The AE system stores everything, and we just need to make sure terminals are available around the place. Isn't there a wireless terminal you could do?
Yeah, we had bad experiences with that, so we need to work on that still.
Fair enough.
It's got range issues and power issues.
Okay. It's always something else.
Yeah, that's basically what we've been up to since the last episode.
Feverishly building more onto the skyscraper.
What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to demonstrate a bit of Thaumcraft, because I am working on... We're going to need some...
Are you jealous of my wizarding?
Yes.
To come up with some alternative wizardry himself.
What I've done, using over here where there's a bit of water, I've put the crucible down for Thaumcraft. I've put some netherrack on the ground underneath it and set it on fire.
Okay.
And
bubbling away.
Actually,
Looks tasty.
I need some iron, so I have to get some iron, which we luckily have some in here. Weak. Let's have loads of that. So what I can do here is, this is how we make interesting things here. Much like with Britannia, if I was to put down those of these...
Ooh, coloured bubbles.
I forget how many I actually needed.
Chuck them all in.
And then...
Fine. Ooh, you can see my bubbles going in the background. Oh, fantastic.
There we go. So I've now made a lot of thormium ingots, which is much like the mana steel, but slightly different. Now,
another kind of metal.
The big problem here is I haven't thought this through. You put the aspects in, and you get some out. And I've used the ones I wanted, but I've now got 16 of that one and 16 of that one left in there.
Oh, I hope that doesn't turn into anything toxic. Did you just
put some more in? Oh no, it's
no.
It's breaking down now. It's breaking down to its things. So if I was to right click, I can. That's gone wrong.
Oh God, that looks a bit toxic.
Yeah, okay, we've got a little bit of tank.
You're a terrible wizard. You should leave wizarding to me, clearly.
I just clean up this tank, don't worry.
Yeah. That's not Ribena, is it?
No. So anyway, yes, this tank, I need to find a source of pure magic for those. I don't know what. We could build a machine which will sort it, but
was that not the
available.
Trees we grew up on the hill?
No.
Silver
That's a really bad way of doing it.
Oh, I don't know then.
So yes.
Found an egg.
And so what we're doing here is we're moving on Thaumcraft a bit, and we've now got some ingots. And next episode, we're going to go into blood magic.
Yep, it's all about the magics.
So join us next week. Well, no, not next week, in a couple of days' time, when we are going to be doing blood magic and starting the useful magics.
Hurrah!
So we'll see you then.